Hey everyone, it's your girl El Nicole here, and I am back with my final recap of Cloak and Dagger Season 1 with the season finale and just my overall thoughts on the entire season. So if you're interested, make sure you stick around and stay tuned. If you haven't already, please subscribe because I finally reached the 100 threshold. And I'm just really proud of that. And then once you do, be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss any new videos from me. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into my recap of Cloak and Dagger. On my page, you'll know that I haven't recapped like these last couple of episodes or so, and that was primarily because I just wasn't impressed with them, and I just didn't want to come on here talking about how this was boring and this and that, because I had been saying that like from maybe like episode 5 to like 7 or so. I had been saying that, and so I just didn't want to keep saying the same thing. So I just waited to do a recap of the entire season and the season finale. So jumping right on in, the season finale again aired tonight, and this season pretty much just came to a head in this one episode. The scary dust stuff came out and turned everybody into terrors. Cloak and Dagger finally came together as a pair and they saved the city, but not before they had their own personal dramas and troubles that happened. Ty and O'Reilly were actually arrested for the murder of that officer that was found in the refrigerator, which was really like intense. I was like, freeform. Where are we going with this? This is too much. And then Tandy and her mom were actually like, I don't know, they were pretty much assaulted by the same woman who actually killed her mother's boyfriend, I believe in like episode like 3 or 4. And so again, she's dealing with Roxanne. Again, he's dealing with the officer. And then they just come to a head at the end by saving the entire city. O'Reilly is actually shot and pushed off into the water. But there's a post-credit scene where we see her climbing out of the water. She looks something like a terror, but she looks something like herself, which I'm kind of disappointed about. Because again, if you've been following me this whole time, you know I just never trusted her from the beginning. But she did come out in the end to try to help Tyrone, and that was a really good thing to see. So I hate now that she's actually probably going to be like somewhat of a villain next season. And even with the promo, they've already said that the next season is going to be mayhem, but then they put a little slash through it. So it's probably evident that she's going to become a terror, and that's what her role is going to be next season. So jumping into my review, wasn't completely impressed with the season finale, and after like episode like 4 or 5 or so, I really wasn't impressed with the season. For me personally, a couple of things that kind of bothered me was that, one, I felt like we lost Tyrone's story somewhere throughout the season. At some point, I just feel like our primary focus became Tandy, and you kind of see that because her powers progressed in every episode. At first, it was like, oh, there's a dagger. Then it was like, the dagger cuts. Then it's like, swing, swing, swing. Now she's throwing daggers. Now she's able to go into people's minds and like make your hopes like depressing or whatever. I don't know really what she was doing. It was weird. But she was like playing in people's heads and stuff. And it was just like her powers, or like her ability to use her powers, just seemed to progress. And Tyrone he still just can't figure out how to do it unless he's like scared and or angry. You see that a lot in the season finale, because there's a scene where he's locked in a back room with Detective O'Reilly, and he's like, I can't make it happen. I need my cloak. And I'm over here like, Tyrone, Ty, you just got that cloak last episode. You've been jumping through the darkness since episode 1. You know how to do this. Come on. What you got powers for if you need the damn cloak? I'm just not impressed. But that to me really kind of spoke volume on how we saw Tandy progress, and he just never really progressed with his powers. And again, with his storyline, I felt like over time we were meeting a lot of people that were involved with Roxanne. We were getting more and more information about Roxanne. Like I believe her name was Mia or Maya, and with her father and how they saved him from his mind. And we ended up losing her actually in this episode as well. But just over time, I felt like the focus really became about Roxanne, which again, if you watch some of my earlier recaps, you would know that I thought that because Tyrone's mom worked with Roxanne, that there was going to be some type of connection and cover up. And then that's why they really like, it was always a plot to kill the brother. Like, I know I'm a little intense and a little deep. And I know Freeform is really like a young adult channel, and maybe, you know, I'm trying to have like power levels and stuff happening. But I mean, at the same time, I'm a Marvel fan, I'm a comic book fan, I'm a superhero fan, and all of that. And so I just kind of was like, okay, where is the next level of what's happening? Or like, how does this all come together as one? And I just felt like with Tyrone's story, we never got that. Another thing for me was, again, with their powers, I just felt like they never really utilized their powers. We saw Tandy progressing, but I felt like Ty didn't. But they never really like came together and was like really giving us like this scene where it's like, this is how strong we are as a team. This is why it's important for us to work together. I was really hoping for like an episode where they had like a Mr. Miyagi or like a Professor X or like, what's the rat's name from the Ninja Turtles or something, like somebody who they could talk to and entrust with that was like helping them train and use their powers. And then I thought they would become like vigilantes and like stop bank robberies and stuff like that. It never happened, you know, and it was just like, okay. And then we just see like Tandy like swing, swing. And then Tyrone is just like, I don't know. Like, I just really was like, where is that, like, you know, that scene? So that way when we got to this episode and they had like that big power scene, we was gonna be like, okay, he about to touch her, he about to do this stuff or whatever, you know, because in the season finale we see Tyrone using his powers like in a way that we've never seen. And it's like, well, where was all of that 2 episodes ago, you know? So that really kind of like bugged me, because I was just like, okay, you're superheroes, but I'm not seeing any powers. It was a lot more teeny drama stuff going on than the powers or whatever. Another thing that I didn't like was like the overarching story about the terrors and and like this big huge thing that's going to happen in New Orleans, that one of the divine pairs is not going to survive. I just felt like that story again just didn't develop. When did the smoke unleash outside of that one time that we saw it, to where the whole city was going crazy and and everybody was turning into a terror? And why is it that like the only people that knew or had some type of insight to about the terrors was like Tandy and Tyrone? So nobody else was prepared for this. Nobody else. This was never something that happened back in 1996. Like, like, where was all of that, you know? And why is it that we didn't really find out about it or have that real insight about it until like the last episode? And then here it is, this episode. And then it was like they held each other's hands. He went black, she went light. And then they were like laying on top of the Superdome. That's it. So I just kind of felt like that whole terror story didn't really like develop completely. And we really just didn't have a full understanding of like what or how it is. I don't know. It was just weird. Like, it just, I don't know. So I felt like there were a lot of stories going on. I felt like a lot of stories didn't get developed. I felt like there was a lot of like information that was kind of like left out. But then at the same time, I felt like they were just doing a lot. I don't know. And it was really disappointing, because like episodes like 1 through 4 had me like, I was like, yes, this is it. This is the show of the summer. And then after that, it was just like, okay, yeah, cool. But I guess at the same time, we got to give it credit, because Olivia and Aubrey, who play Tandy and play Tyrone, did really great jobs in their roles. I thought all the characters were good. I love the historic information that they told, like about New Orleans and everything like that, whether it's true, false, or indifferent. I thought it was just really cool to learn about, because people mostly like look to New Orleans like to party and things like that. So just really kind of diving into that information and history was just really, really dope to me. I thought it was good for a Marvel show that to be on TV. I thought that was really good. So I'm not against it. I just wasn't fully impressed with like the storylines. I thought the cinematography was good. I thought all the directors did a really good job. I thought the graphics weren't like too extra or like really cheesy or comic bookish or whatever. I thought they did a good job with that. And I just really feel like if maybe like some of the storylines have been developed a little bit more, I thought it would have been really, really good. I think if I was younger and like a teenager and not so much into TV shows and writing and producing as I am, I probably would have completely loved the show. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm going to watch, but I probably won't watch on TV. I'll probably continue to watch it on Hulu because I have Hulu without commercials. So, all right, guys, let me know what you thought about the entire season of Cloak and Dagger, and especially what you thought about the season finale of Cloak and Dagger. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you feel the same way I did? Will you be sticking around for season 2? Because they said it's going to be mayhem. I'm really excited to see that and see where Detective O'Reilly goes and what happens with her character. I'm excited to see all the characters come back, the ones who do come back and the ones who don't, and just excited to see where it goes. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Leave me some comments below. I promise to be back with more videos soon. All right, guys, until next time.